helping bring this wonderful resource, storyteller, story sharer, writer, Fred Reif? Reif. Fred Reif, now you know, and I know. Fred Reif, hailing from decent Essexville. Thanks for coming. We will try to do more of these types of events. If you think they're a good idea, tell a friend and help us keep doing these. I don't know that we're going to be able to top Fred Reif anytime soon, but we'll do what we can. Also, today, just FYI, we're going to be collaborating today as our clicker is not working, so Fred's going to be telling me when we move to the next slide. We're rolling with it. Please, let's just by a round of applause give a very warm Lansing welcome to Fred Reif.
Next slide. All right. Back in the, 64, 63, when the British invasion came to the United States. Is this on?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. We hear you.
Two British albums that really turned me on to American blues while I was still in high school was the Animals and the Rolling Stones. And I really didn't get into the Beatles until later. But these were my first two albums that I really was listening to. And you listen, they had some songs on there on both of these albums that you go, oh, who is Muddy Waters? Who is McKinley Morganfield? Who is, whoever. And so I started looking them up and got turned on to the real people who wrote the songs. And next slide. Also, when I was at my parents' growing up, I would turn on late at night in bed WLAC out of Nashville.
That's right.
Yeah.
WLAC, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah. And later on, I actually got Lightning Slim to do a live show over it on one of their programs. But they would come over late at night and they would play blues and rhythm and blues and stuff you never heard of. And they also, from Randy's Record Shop and another one, they would have buy 345s for a buck or so.
Yes.
And so I would do that. And that's how I got turned on to more of the Chicago and electric blues. Next slide. And this is why. In 1967, I was in a jug band, and that was the original low-class, half-assed jug and blues band. And we used to play in Lansing all the time for fraternity parties and not drive home. I'll tell you that. But next slide. And then in the late 60s, I started to go to Bobby Blue Bland and B.B. King would come to Saginaw 2 or 3 times a year.
Wow.
And I started to go to the old auditorium, and my friend Tommy Dolson took that picture of one year. It was, they always had a special guest or two. And so on the left, that's Little Milton in the middle. And on the poster on the right, that year they had Tyrone Davis, who was also originally from Saginaw. People didn't know that, but he was. Actually, I was working at the Record Hut at the time, and he and his father came into the store. And didn't say who he was, but the father said, "Oh, I'm Tyrone Davis's father," but the other guy had big diamond rings that said TD on it. So I figured that was Tyrone. Next slide. And I started to write for a magazine in England called Blues Unlimited back in '69 or so. And they had an article in there that Lightning Slim lived somewhere in Michigan, in Pontiac, and someone should try to find him. Well, I did that. And this was in his bedroom. He rented a house, or he rented a room, I should say, this room, from his old friend Slim Harpo's sister. And people I've read in different publications, they kept saying Lightning was married to her. No, he just rented a room. She was already married to Willie Murray. So this was a picture of him, one of the first times that I went down there for an interview. And we'd go up to his room, and as you can see, we had a bottle of probably Canadian Club. That's what he used to like to drink. And he'd bring out his old guitar and start playing some music, which was, I mean, it was, I at the time, I couldn't believe I was there. Next slide. So I get a call. I wrote an article about Lightning for Blues Unlimited, and I get a call from the University of Chicago Folk Festival that they wanted to book, on the left there, Lightning Slim and Lazy Lester, who used to be Lightning's harmonica player. And I said, sure, yeah, if I could get him, because he was still down, Lazy Lester was still in Louisiana. So I sent him a bus ticket, or actually I sent him the money to buy a bus ticket, and where is Lester? He didn't show up. So I found out that he had spent that money, not on the ticket. So the people from the University of Chicago Folk Fest, they said, well, we gotta have him. We'll send him a bus ticket, an actual bus ticket. So he came up, and I had picked up, I was living in Saginaw at the time, and I picked up Lightning in Pontiac, and Lester was supposed to be at the Pontiac bus station at a certain time, whatever it was, and no Lazy Lester. So this woman overheard me talking, that was on the bus, overheard me talking to somebody at the station, and they said, oh, there was a tall black guy who was on the bus who was sleeping. And I go, oh, that's him. So he went on, he never woke up. So, and we're supposed to go to Chicago, so I had to drive all the way back. I said, where's the next stop? And they said, Flint, Michigan. So I drove back to Flint, and I said, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I went in the bathroom at the station house in Flint, and there was this tall black guy in the bathroom, and I said, are you Lester? He said, you Fred? I said, yep. And that's how we met. In the bathroom at the Flint bus station. And after the festival, which turned out really good, on the Monday, Phil Guy got a hold of us, Buddy's brother, younger brother, and they were, both Buddy and Phil were old friends of Lightning and Lester back in Louisiana. So Phil picked us up and took us to Teresa's for Blue Monday and to Pepper's after that. And so Lightning asked the photographer at Teresa's if they'd take a picture. So this is that photograph. And there was another one taken that Hound Dog Taylor, who also played that night, paid for. And I don't know whatever happened to that photo. I wish it would come up someday. Next slide. Oh, forgot about that. Yeah, play that.
Okay.
Part of
You
it.
want to say anything about it before?
Yeah, no.
All right, cool.
But this is what Lightning sounded like. And Western.
Now when your mama start acting funny and begin to run around, you better get you
Lester was
somebody
only 36 in that
put you
picture
down,
there.
better let her go. Man, just as quick as you can.
You can cut it off. Or
Big
fade it
on that
out.
little hoodoo girl.
And go to the next slide. Oh yeah, and this is a photograph of Lightning sitting in with, that's Phil Guy over on the right, A.C. Reed on sax, and I'm not sure who the maraca player or the drummer was, but this was, actually it was